What's going on, guys? I'm Roger Fountain. Welcome back to Movie Shit, a podcast about movies and shit. Today we're talking about The Boogeyman. For those of you watching the video version of the podcast, right there, they give us a little poster to take home, which was cool. So this movie comes out June 2nd. We went to an early screening of it. As part of Beyond Fest at our favorite American Cinematheque. Presented it at the Aero Theater in Santa Monica, or 20th Century Fox, I guess, or 20th Century Studios presented it. But anyways, they gave everybody free popcorn, free Coke. It was a good time, man. And there was a Q&A afterwards with the star actors Chris Messina and David Dastmalchian, and the director Rob Savage. I'm trying to see what other work he's done. I feel like he did the Host movie in 2020. So if you saw it's like a Zoom horror movie. Like, it takes place on a desktop, and obviously with that concept it could be really boring and terrible, but Host was really good. I think it was the better. I feel like there were two that came out in 2020 just because everybody was on lockdown and stuff. Kind of inspired like isolation, like a home invasion horror stuff. But yeah, that was good. It kind of sucks whenever I I go see a movie and a lot of the people that worked on the movie were there, and it's just I didn't care for it that much. I feel bad saying that, but I mean, it's just, this movie isn't for me. This is I'm going to try to avoid spoilers. Obviously, it doesn't come out until June. But it's The Boogeyman. All right. I mean, even the director, he said, he's like, there's like a million movies with that name that are like terrible. So if you can make one decent one, good for you. So yeah, Rob Savage said that. But yeah, they originally he said this was supposed to be just a Hulu release, I believe, and it's getting a theatrical release. I don't know. I kind of feel like it should have stayed on Hulu, but the thing is, horror movies are doing well, and I'm sure 20th Century Fox or whatever saw that and was like, hey, let's put this out. But again, this kind of movie, I mean, I like horror movies, but I like horror movies. This is PG-13. This is rated PG-13, and we've had some really good material come out, mature material for PG-13. I mean, look at The Batman. That's PG-13. Definitely not for kids. Super heavy. Just like, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Volume 3 is PG-13. They get into some touchy subject matter there. And whatever, the last Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness was PG-13. And spoiler alert for that if you haven't seen it by now. Mr. Fantastic gets, like, turned into, like, a bunch of noodles. Like, he gets strained out of existence. Like, you can do some crazy stuff with... and it has like Zombie Strange in it, obviously. You can do some crazy stuff with a PG-13 rating. So yeah, this is suspenseful. There's a little bit of scares, but the plot revolves around a psychiatrist, and he sees this guy. Let me see what the characters' names are. He sees this guy Lester, played by David Dastmalchian. Does a great job, but he's in it for like one scene at the beginning. He kind of sets up the monster. So yeah, this is based on a short story by Stephen King. I think it was in The Skeleton Crew, if I'm not mistaken, which was a compilation, which is what The Mist came from and stuff. So obviously Stephen Kingness is in there, and apparently there's a lot of Easter eggs in there for you. I don't want to ruin too much for Stephen King fans. But yeah, so the whole short story is just the therapy session. And they changed the ending of the short story to what the movie is, obviously. they added more characters and fleshed out. Like the therapist's family is basically what it revolves around. His daughters and stuff start seeing the boogeyman or whatever. But yeah, my thing is there was already a really good movie that revolved around a psychiatrist and their family and a monster that was spread by trauma. It was called Smile, and I don't know how many people saw that, but that movie was fucking great. And so, and obviously that one's rated R. And so I've seen the good version of this concept already. So watching this, I was just like, I mean, it's like Smile for kids, right? I was a little disappointed. But yeah, so I don't know. They had this little thing too. They had the Boogeyman experience. For those of you watching the video version of the podcast, you can see some pictures that I took from there. There was this big black box in this door that you go in or whatever, and they had these candles, and this closet thing would open up and whatever. It's a terrible picture of me. Wasn't scary. It was kind of lame. No fault of the people that put it together. I don't want to make anybody angry, but it's whatever. It is what it is. The Boogeyman. I mean, there's some good shots in it. There's some good. I think he's a CG monster for the most part, if not the entirety. But he's kind of like. All right, now it's going to be a little bit of a spoiler if you want to stop listening now. So I'd say the verdict that I'm trying to portray is if you got kids and you want to take them to a horror movie to get their little scary juices flowing, take them to see the Boogeyman. It's fine. They're gonna have a great time. They're gonna be scared. You're probably gonna be a little bored. But yeah, like M. Night Shyamalan came out with that movie with the old people, and it was just supposed to be entertaining because of how tense it was, and are they going to eat the kids? I don't know if anybody remembers this one. It turns out they were just like escaped mental patients or some shit. But anyways, yeah, the Q&A was fun afterwards. And the moderator, God, I can't remember his name, but he was just like, nobody cheered, nobody clapped whenever they said the titular line. Whenever they say the Boogeyman one time in this movie, and he's like, and nobody cheered. And I was like, well, I thought like everybody else, I thought they were going to bring it back up again. I thought the dad was going to talk about it or it was going to be mentioned again. So yeah, nobody clapped or anything whenever she said it. She's like, the Boogeyman, and it's not like. You don't necessarily have to, yeah, so if you don't want anything spoiled for you, you should probably stop now. But the monster is kind of like a lower level thing, It, you know what I mean? Like, It's pretty powerful. It can change, like, what your mind sees and, like, your mind sees and can, like, change its shape and stuff. This thing can only move in darkness, right? So as long as you're in a source of light, and they do some pretty cool lighting stuff with the kids. The kids in it are pretty good. But she has like a little moonlight that's like battery powered, I guess. It's like a orb, like a light orb that's shaped like the moon. And they roll that around and like to reveal dark corners of the room and stuff. And those shots are pretty cool. And and there's a scene with the little girl, and she has blinking Christmas lights. And so if you watched Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho, she sleeps outside. Like, she stays in this room, and outside is a motel sign that's blinking red, white, and blue. And so it makes for some pretty cool looking stuff. And so they do a similar thing in this, but it's just flashing red and green because they're Christmas lights. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'd say the best part about this movie is, obviously, as it should be, is the lighting for the monster. Because he's always there's shots where he's like lurking just on the peripheral of the frame or something, and like you only see the eyes glow in the darkness. That's always a cool shot. But yeah, it just didn't didn't get me. And it may be because Charlie stayed home. Like, I enjoy horror movies a lot more whenever she's there because she actually gets, scared. And so without her there to, like, tell me when I'm supposed to jump, I'm like, like, I don't know. It's got to be something to get my blood pumping. But yeah, I mean, the whole event was fun. And one thing there was one F-bomb in Guardians of the Galaxy. There's also one F-bomb in this. And so whenever that came up towards the end, she said, "Fuck you" or something. I was just like, oh, can we do that? And there's one F-bomb in the Batman too. I'm like, this has always been the rule, right? Because I know you could say, like, I think there's a ratio. There's like 3 dams, 2 shits, maybe 1 shit or 1 F, or 1 fuck. Yeah, so anything that has to do with, like, bodily functions, like shit or fuck, you only get 1 of. I believe that's the rule. And then you can say damn and you can say hell, and nobody fucking gets mad about that shit. But whatever. So yeah, you can watch this one whenever it comes on. I'd say, yeah, watch it with the kids. Make it like a little movie night. I mean, either at the theater or in your house. It comes out in theaters, I guess, June 2nd. I don't know what time it's going to come to streaming. I guess it's going to come to Hulu. 20th Century Studios, that's Disney. Disney bought Fox, right? I'm pretty sure that's right. So it's either going to be, I think it's going to be on Hulu. Which Hulu original, like, horror movies, sometimes they're really good. Sometimes they're pretty damn great. Let Them In, I think, was the one that I'm thinking of. It was like a very small budget horror movie about this couple and, like, these, like, invading forces from the dark. But just the way that one was shot and the way that suspense is built up, that one was actually really good. But yeah, I don't know. Something about the pacing in this one. Just wasn't feeling it. So, all right. I think I'll end it there. Short episode. Short episode this time, kids. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.